Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're going to begin our program and opening up with us this afternoon. We lift every voice and sing Nia and Julia.
Everyone please stand for this.
And take on the challenges of our times. My name is Anita Gay. I'm the Director of Black Student Affairs here at Augsburg College, and I want to just say a little bit about the people in our program today, and we will begin. We're going to have music selection by Martin's Music Makers. We have Mr. Garland King, who will be accompanying one of our singers later on. Garland is a pianist and musician at New Salem Baptist Church, and also is part of a group called New Directions. Our city is filled with just tons and much energy and talent. We have Mr. Kevin Jackson. I think I put the wrong name on the program, but Kevin Jackson, why don't you stand, Garland, just kind of way so folks know who you are. Kevin is a performer, singer, pianist, and when he's not performing on his own, he's working with his wife, Davita Steele. Angela Rusagard is a senior from South High. She's also a Howard Jackson Talent recipient and plans to attend Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, upon graduation. Al Hudson is also a singer, drummer, who's multi-talented musician with Excelsior Choir Ensemble. The Golden Swans is also part of the new College Direction, and is grooming his entire family to play the drums. He has a 3-year-old that I think plays the music. And we have Darnisha Cowell, who's a student here at Augsburg College, a business major, part of the Augsburg's newly formed gospel choir, and we're really glad to have her here. Pulling all of this together as a consultant to my office is Mr. Bobby Joe Champion. He's the director for over 13 years with Excelsior Choir Ensemble, which perhaps is the second oldest musical institution in the city behind the sounds of blackness. He's been a leader of the Leo Johnson Drum Corps, recipient of city recognition, and has facilitated several series for the Black Music Award, and is presently a first-year law student at William Mitchell, Mr. Bobby Joe Champion, the Martin Music Makers. We'll have a welcome from Jason, and I'll say a little bit more from that. Right now, we'll have an invocation by our pastor, Dave Wall, who has brought much energy and spirit and love to our community here, and we're just pleased to have him part of our program, and I'm just delighted that he's with us here once again.
Thank you, Anita. Each year I've begun with either an excerpt from one of Martin Luther King's speeches or an excerpt from the funeral service that was held April 9th, 1968. They have chosen to use a portion of the eulogy given by Benjamin Mays, professor emeritus at that time at Augsburg College, and Martin Luther King had gone to college. It's a powerful section, and I'm going to begin in mid-speech. Surely, surely this man was called of God to do his work. Amos and Micah were prophets in the 8th century. Martin Luther King Jr. was a prophet in the 20th century. If Isaiah was called of God to prophesy in his day, if Hosea was sent to preach love and forgiveness centuries ago, Martin Luther was sent to expound the doctrine of nonviolence and forgiveness in the 3rd quarter of the 20th century. If Jesus was called to preach the gospel to the poor, Martin Luther was called to bring dignity to the common person. If a prophet is one who interprets in clear and intelligible language the will of God, Martin Luther King Jr. fits that designation. If a prophet is one who does not seek popular causes to espouse, but rather the causes which he thinks are right, Martin Luther qualified on that score. No, he was not ahead of his time. No person is ahead of their time. Every person is within their time. Each person must respond to the call of God in their lifetime and not somebody else's time. Jesus had to respond to the call of God in the 1st century and not in the 20th century. He had but one life to live. Jesus could not wait. How long do you think Jesus would have had to wait for the duly constituted authorities to accept him? 25 years? 100 years? 1,000 years? Never. He died at 33. He could not wait. Paul, Copernicus, Martin Luther, the Protestant reformer, Gandhi, Nehru could not wait for another time. They had to act in their lifetimes. No one is ahead of their time. Then Dr. Mays closed with these words. I close by saying to you what Martin Luther King believed. If physical death was the price he had to pay to rid America of prejudice and injustice, nothing could be more redemptive. And to paraphrase words of the immortal John Fitzgerald Kennedy, permit me to say that Martin Luther King Jr.'s unfinished work on earth must truly be our guide. In that spirit, we begin. Let God be God.
Our welcome will be given by Jason Cook, who's the president of our student senate here. Jason is a senior who's majoring in biology. And he'll be followed by Ms. Chandra Lewis, president of the Pan-Afrikan Student Union, who's a freshman who's taken on the awesome task of being president at the first year.
Good afternoon. As Nita said, my name is Jason Cook, and I'm the president of the Augsburg student body. On behalf of the student body, I would like to welcome everyone here this afternoon. My fellow students, faculty members, staff members, honored guests, and members of the community. I would also like to thank you for joining us as we gather to remember and respect the work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Langston Hughes, an African-American poet, wrote in his poem Harlem, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Dr. King had a dream, and he acted on it. He dedicated his life to pursuing that dream. He worked with others to set the groundbreaking foundation for others. Ground has been broken. Much hard work has been done. Dr. King left us the map of the road that leads where we should go. It is our responsibility to follow that road. It is our responsibility as young leaders and educators. It is our responsibility not to let Dr. King's dream dry up. It is our responsibility. As you listen today, keep your responsibility in mind. Think about it and how you can carry it out into tomorrow. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Ms. Chandra Lewis, president of the Augsburg Pan-Afrikan Student Union.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Augsburg College, welcome from 1993, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. My name is Chandra Lewis, and I'm the president of Augsburg College Student Union and African Student Union. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream of freedom for all. Today, I welcome you all and celebrate his birthday and working towards fulfilling his dream. Today's program is our way of continuing his dream. Hopefully, we all share Dr. King's dream, and today, we reaffirm ourselves in making his dream a reality. Thank you for coming and enjoy the
make it a little Baptist up in here. Y'all gonna have to loosen up up in here. I know it's Lutheran school. I go to this every time I get up here. Y'all know what to do. Y'all gonna have to loosen up. At least my Baptist folks got to show the folks what to do. Come on now. Because Reverend McAfee doesn't need time to warm you up. You got to be warmed up when he gets up. Because he got a lot to say. So thank you. That was a high school student thing, okay? Next, we're going to have one of the other talented members of the Pan-Afrikan Student Union community to share with us some of his reflections of a dramatic piece by Mr. Horace D. Duffy, who's a student here majoring in elementary education from Los Angeles. Mr. Duffy.
Thank you, Anita. Can I hear amen? Amen. Thank you. Right now, I'm about to do a speech or a sermon that Martin Luther King delivered in February of 1968. I was 12 in 1978 when I first heard this sermon. It was on an old scratchy record my mother kept in her record collection. The record had several sermons that Martin Luther King had made, including I Have a Dream. But this drum major instinct sermon made a tremendous impact in my life, and I want to share a bit with you. Before I begin with this excerpt, I want to explain what is the drum major instinct. Drum major instinct is a need to be out front, the leader of the band, so to speak. We all feel good when we are praised for something that we have accomplished or when our name is in print. You can go to any professional's office and see walls full of plaques of accomplishments. As babies, we are little bundles of ego in need of attention. We all have this real drum major instinct. Now I want you to go back to 1968, as I am about to go back to 1968. And this is the drum major instinct by Martin Luther King. The drum major instinct is a need for some to feel that they are first, and to feel that their white skin ordained them to be first. Matter of fact, not too long ago, a man down in Mississippi said that God was a charter member of the White Citizens Council. So God being a charter member means that everybody who's in there has a kind of divinity, a kind of superiority. As a result, this perverted use of the drum major instinct led to the most tragic and prejudice, the most tragic expressions of man in humanity. Not only does this thing go into the racial struggles, it also goes into the struggle between nations. And I would submit to you this morning that what is wrong with the world today is that the nations of the world are engaged in a bitter, colossal contest for supremacy. Something doesn't happen to stop this trend. I'm sorely afraid that we won't be here to talk about Jesus Christ and about God and about brotherhood too many years. Somebody doesn't bring it into this suicidal thrust that we see in the world today. None of us are going to be around because somebody's going to make the mistake through our senseless wondering or dropping a nuclear bomb somewhere, and then another one's going to drop, and don't let anybody fool. This could happen within a matter of seconds. They have 20 megaton bombs in Russia right now. They can destroy a city as big as New York in 3 seconds with everybody wiped away in any kind of thing. And we can do the same thing to Russia and China. And this is why we're drifting. And we're drifting that. Nations caught up with the drum major instinct. I must be perfect. I must be supreme. Our nation must rule the world. I'm sad to say that the nation in which we live is the supreme culture. I'm going to continue to say that, your Reverend, because I love this country too much to see the drift of the state. God didn't call America to do what she's doing in the world. God didn't call America to engage in a senseless, unjust war. The war in Vietnam. And we are criminals in that war. We've committed more war crimes than almost any nation was. And I want to continue. And we won't stop it because of our pride and our arrogance of a nation. But God has a way of putting nations in their place. The God that I worship has a way of saying, don't play with me. Has a way of saying, as God in the Old Testament used to say Hebrews, don't play with me. Don't play with me. Babel. Be still and know that I'm God. And if you don't stop your reckless pulse, I'll rise up and break the backbone of your power. You know that can happen to America. Every now and then I go back and read Gibbon's The Climb and Fall of the Roman Empire. Then I come back and look at America. And I say to myself, the parallels are frightening. This perverted use of the drum major instinct. Thank you.
the way.
Now what do you all supposed to say? All right. We have next in our program one of the other campus leaders on campus, Ms. Antoinette Tenoli. She's been involved with our new student orientation on campus. She's a basketball player and was also crowned our homecoming queen this past fall. I'm really pleased that she's here to do her poem. And
Several times this last fall, I took the opportunity to attend New Salem Baptist Church in North Minneapolis, where Reverend Jerry McAfee is pastor. You may be familiar with his name from the media, or some of you may know him through his many involvements which are listed in the program. It is apparent what a distinguished member of our community he is. But to me, Reverend McAfee represents something even more. When I first saw him up in front of New Salem Baptist Church, I was wondering to myself, what is he smiling about? But by the end of the service, I knew. It was obvious that Reverend McAfee had a faith and a vitality that spread through the whole congregation, giving them support and encouragement. The strength of that service was unlike any congregation that I've ever been a part of before. Speaking on the challenges of our times, I introduce Reverend Jerry McAfee.
And all the people of God said, before I share with you this little feeble thought that God has placed
shine. When my day has turned into midnight, I can fold my arms across my brow, lift my eyes towards heaven, and have a talk to the Lord. The songwriter says, I once was lost in sin, but Jesus took me in, shed a little light from heaven on my soul, bathed my heart in love and wrote my name above, and just a little talk with Jesus makes it all right. And I just tell him that Lord, shine on me. It gets personal. See, I want him to shine on you, but sometimes I carry some of your problems and I need an extra lift for myself. And at those moments when I need to be self-centered and selfish, Lord, shine on me. I need an advent of a special leaving. I need the power of the Holy Spirit to move on the inside, to give me the incentive to keep moving. I need something, man. Every now and then. Now listen, y'all, I know a lot of you out there. And some of you know me. Now, we are not strangers.
That's right.
So, and you know I believe that anything that is dead ought to be. Now, I want you to put your hands together. Give the Lord a round of applause. Now, thank God has been so good to us standing on the feet. God has been good to us standing on the feet. Come on, Augsburg. Let's worship and praise the Lord. So really good. If God has been good, somebody say hallelujah. Come on now, God has been good. We say hallelujah. Come on, say thank you, Jesus. Come on, you can do better than that. Say thank you, Jesus. They won't mind if you praise the Lord over here just for a little while. Now, I do have a little bit of etiquette. I say a little bit, so I can get away with some things. I want to thank this committee for inviting me to speak. While I understand at this particular hour I am not one of the most loved persons in the world, however, that's all right. For I have a record called the Bible that's full with people and personalities who the masses did not like. You know, they did kill Jesus because they didn't like him. So I think I'm in good company. So I want to thank you for being daring. This morning I was at General Mills breakfast, and Sister Della Reese was awesome. She was tough. The crowd was filled with mostly what we would categorize as professional or successful African Americans. Pseudo intellectuals.
All right.
Wow. I love it when our people be the best that they can be. I love to see our people in fine regalia. However, it is disenchanting when I see all of the dunamis that was present within that room, while in this state, as a people, we really don't own nothing. When I see the ingenuity, know-how, all together in that room, and knowing after this day, that will be the last time all of them will gather together for one common cause. That grieves me.
on last Friday, I attended the first banquet given by Baptist churches, and the preacher, as he stood up to speak, talked about how he was walking through the skyway, and he saw 4 black men, and he said they looked to be real mad, and he didn't know why they were mad, and he didn't want to say nothing to them, so he moved to the side. So my first question in my own mind was to him, why'd you move to the side? Because I spoke. And it confused me when he made the statement that he don't know why they were mad. And that's what I want to talk about just for a minute this morning. Why I'm so mad. As I was rolling through the Rolodex of my mind, God paused and told me, open the book, and as I opened the book, I thought about Hosea, and I found some words that articulate how I felt. And if you would just allow me to read these little old words, I'll be through in a minute. Out of Hosea 4, it says, hear the word of the Lord, you children of Israel. For the Lord had a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. Maybe you didn't hear me. Let me say that again. Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. Lord, speak to me that I may speak to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Why am I so mad? It's interesting, for Hosea says that the Lord has a controversy, a problem, an argument, a debate with the inhabitants of the land. See, I always tell the members of New Salem, I'm not a theologian, I'm a ghetto-logian. And from my own little ghetto mindset, let me try and demonstrate just for a minute. From my own little mindset, my translation of this verse would be, hear the word of the Lord, you children of Israel, for God got a problem with you. Because there's no truth, no mercy, nor any knowledge of God. Therefore, he's mad with you. What would Dr. King think today, after 20-some years after his death, over 30-some years after starting out? What would he think about us? Not just one set, not just one so-called race, not just one, but what would God think or Martin think about blacks and whites? Because I'm going to mess with both of you. Because I'm mad. I'm mad the same reason why God was mad at Israel. Because there is, first of all, no truth. It amazes me that while we are in 1993, we have so-called psychologists still trying to suggest to people that we as a people, black folk, are inferior genetically. It surprises me that even a Nobel Peace Prize winner, William Shockley, is It wasn't because he wanted to, or he had any great love for us. He did it to save the union. Now, put a footnote there too, because you want to understand that freedom is not always external. Freedom is more internal than it is external, because if you are internally free, you can always be free irregardless of your external situation. Ain't that true? That's not true. Even in our churches, that's not true. Seminaries across America is still trying to suggest that there is no other race or nation of people represented in the Bible other than Europeans. No, they lie. It's in the book. Come on now. Garden of Eden, Africa. Jesus hid in Egypt 2 years. If you was gonna hide me, would you hide me in Ghana? What's up with that? True. Jesus himself said that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Now here's the problem. You know, it really bothers me when people give me misinformation. And part of our problem right now is because we keep distorting the educational system, and we have to have special days. We have to have special months, Black History Month. You don't need to give us no month. We need a whole year. That's more to us than just a month. But have the people been made just as many contributions as anybody else? And let me also share this with you, my brothers and my sisters, since we are talking about truth. God has one race, and that is the human race. He has no black, no white, no red, no yellow, no brown. God got a human race. And if the truth be told, all of you came from black men. If I cut Dave gonna bleed red. You cut me, I'm gonna bleed red. Dave gonna say ouch. I'm gonna say ouch or something else. We're still talking about truth. Is Martin's dream a reality, or is it a nightmare? I mean, come on, you can tell me. Come on now. I see you. I see what's happening in the courtrooms. I see what happens in the jails. I see what's happening on the streets. Come on, now, y'all can be real with me. Come on, tell me. You lied so much to us. First you said, go get your high school diploma. We went and got it. Then you said we needed to have college degrees. We went and got bachelor degrees. Then you said you got to have master degrees. We went and got master degrees. Then you said we had to have experience in the company in which you own. You locked us out, and then you turned around and said they needed quotas. And then you know, folks, we don't even like quotas. And we just boxed all the way out. Everything you told us has been a lie. Dr. King said that America has given us a bad check, and that bad boy been bouncing for 40 years, and it's still bouncing today. But let me tell you this, every time he comes back and he's a vicious God, it needs to go back again and try it all over again. Or give us a new check. Give us a new check. But we want to draw it on the bank of heaven and not on the bank of America. There is no truth. Nothing but lies. They force, sometimes teach, vulnerable, precious kids to hate one another. Listen, y'all, hate is a learned process. You just don't grow up hateful. I wonder where little Johnny got that from. Well, he heard you. He had an excellent teacher. to stop this massive destruction. We're destroying our kids, black and white, are being destroyed even as we sit, and we're still playing games. They talk about the violence on the streets of Minneapolis, but they're not talking about the over 400 and some suicides in broader Minnesota. Kids all over this world and nation is hurting, and we're playing games. Yes. And the kids are losing out. So God says, I'm mad because there's no truth. And then he says, I'm mad because there's no mercy. When you talk about mercy, you did start dealing with forgiveness. Is there mercy in the United States of America? War on drugs, which has really been a war on black America. Now, Jan Smady said that, y'all. She said that in the paper, Star and Tribune, who was over the task force for Minnesota. She said that. And Jan, y'all, is a white lady. All right, no, I ain't saying that. I'm just quoting what she said. So if you gonna get mad, go get mad at somebody else. I got enough of them mad. This war on drugs, how is it that statistically European Americans make up over 80% of the drug use, but yet African Americans make up over 85% of the arrests? Something wrong with that. How is it that we are less than 12% of the total population of America, but yet we are represented over 48.6% in the penal system? They also say that if African Americans or people of color was judged on the same standards as European Americans, over 50% of the prisons would be empty. But you know they ain't gonna let that happen. You know why? Because there's 700,000 African Americans in prison at around $35,000 per year at a total cost of about $24.5 billion. Prison is the fastest growing industry in this country, and you talking about mercy? No, because it's big business. Listen, who makes the concrete? Who makes the bars? Who puts up the building? Who provides the window? Who provides the bars? Who provides the water? Who makes the truck to get the prisoners there? Who's standing in the courtroom with the black robe on? Who's representing them? It is us. Whatever happened that gives people the opportunity to make a mistake? But yet the only people in America who cannot make a mistake is black folk. Richard Nixon, Tricky Dick, can do all the things that he did. And you all will pay him $10,000 and $20,000 to come here to speak to you. You can't say amen, say ouch. John DeLorean, you know John had all that dough. Come on, man. He set free, gone. But you would turn around and take a 25-cent hustler like Jerome Goldman and make him out to be a notorious bandit, and everybody said, lock him up and hold him at Where is the mercy? And also, my brothers and my sisters, where is that God has given you that you are supposed to extend to other people? I was reading in the paper on Sunday, and two women was writing about, I'll put it in my own words, how awful it was that Spike and Sharif and others had got this alleged rapist to the police and got him placed in jail. Now listen. Maybe I'm confused because Well, okay, I didn't finish college, so maybe that's why I don't understand. You got an alleged rapist for 14 rapes. You want him arrested. Police can't find him. He calls some folk, they turn him in, and now they are the problem. No, maybe I better say it another way because it ain't making no sense. It ain't making no sense to me. And maybe somebody, well, nobody protected no one. You just going off hype on what you heard in the paper. Right. That's all. When people are turned in, we are not the judge, not the jury. Let me tell you why most of the time we will respond when a brother or sister want to turn themselves in, because the police will run through our community, knock doors down, knock people down, trying to find that person. And we can turn that person in and alleviate and eradicate the stress and the strain and the plague from our people. We will do it, make no apologies, don't care what you think, because you ain't living in our community. You sit back on your seat, nice, comfortable seat, judging when you don't even know what's happening. 300 and some arrests of different people. And then folks want to argue about how he got in. Let me tell you what you don't understand when we decided we do talk. And the conversation goes something like this, man, I hope that boy don't mess with another auto. When I say our folk, I mean sisters, wives. Nobody wants someone that would rape people. I mean, what's wrong with those people? What would even make anyone think that we would not have the same fears and concerns as you do for yours? You talking about ego. You really on an ego trip. You are really tripping. No one wants anyone walking around, and I don't care who bring him in, as long as they get in. We bring back in McAfee. Now God knows as well as you all know they was gonna kill that boy. But listen, they was hot on his trail. Yeah, they was hot on his trail. They just broke into a house in South Minneapolis, and we got back from Chicago, but they was hot on his trail. That's what they said. Hot on his trail. But who becomes the object? You put out a report, you got a nationwide manhunt going on, and here it is, you get him at your front door without going anywhere, and you mad. Now listen, somebody explain that to me, because it don't add up. Right now, our great, marvelous Attorney General is trying to get a new prison system built for 14 and 15-year-olds who they may consider career criminals. No mercy. Let me show you what happened to black Americans. Go down to juvenile detention of St. Joe's any day of the week, and they are arresting close to 99 young black boys a week and releasing them. Stay with me now, because I'm going somewhere. Every time you bring them in, it's documented. Stay with me now. If you bring them in 5 times, and it's documented 5 times, and they are let go, nothing happened. And the minute they do something, and they are guilty of it, and you see on the printout that they've been arrested 5 times, guess what you think will happen to them? Gone. And what do we do? Oh yes, you are soft on crime. Why are we mad? Why do I have to live under a system like that? You have told us that you are a Christian nation. You told us that. Yeah. And you know one of the main tragedies? We as a race of people have bought it, hook, line, and sinker, and we hit ourselves so much we don't want to deal with nobody that even look like us. That's why many of you moved way out. successful when you live around black folk. Yeah, you didn't know that's why you moved? That's why when many of you from corporate America who come from the colleges and then you get with that company and then they take you to every area but the black area, and you know that black folk around here, but you ain't gonna ask them. Because you don't want to be associated yourself. And then you are surprised when they don't do what you feel they ought to do. You hate yourself. If I was them, I wouldn't do nothing for you. Amen. Why are we mad? Why are we mad? Ego deprivation, cultural emasculation, psychotic disorder. Negate who we are as a people so we can assimilate into a culture that's not our own and that don't want to accept us, but will dress just like Europeans, will talk just like them because we hate ourselves. And understand what I'm saying. You can never truly love anyone until you first learn to love yourself. Love ought to be colorblind, but at the same time, if you cannot love you, then something is drastically wrong with you. I tell the people in Salem Baptist Church that if your love is so shallow that it can't reach beyond you or your people, you need to go back and check yourself. See, I have no problem loving anyone of any color. Because I don't know about you, but I like me. I know I'm the best me I can get. I like me. But it's big enough to go beyond the pigmentation of my skin. And finally, he says, 1, I'm mad because there's no truth. 2, I'm mad because there's no mercy. And 3, I'm mad because there's no knowledge of God in the land. Why would he put that in there? I mean, he lays some specific things out. And then he turns around and he gets religious on us. You know, most of us really don't like religion. You know it, and we can tell by the way you practice. He says, I'm mad because there's no knowledge of God in the land. Not that knowledge is not available, but because we have rejected knowledge. And anytime you get a people, be it black, white, red, brown, or yellow, that don't know any God, they are subject to do anything. The only way for us as a people and as a nation to survive is to get back to the old landmark. We have to get back into full fellowship and union and unity with our God. Part of the problem with churches today, because churches and colleges, we have a responsibility because our kids are tired of our dried up worship service. They don't want to come anymore because they know you're faking it. Most people, I don't care whether you're white or black, you are in a sense emotional. If you don't believe it, turn the Vikings game on. You see them doing the wave. All game long, man, my legs would kill me. Come to church, and somebody has told us, don't say that. So kids are looking around, they're waiting on something to happen. You don't believe it? We go sing it, you sing in a lot of different churches in the rural area. All the kids would be into it. I'm wondering, wait a minute now, these white kids really into this. We leave and they wouldn't hear nothing till we got back. Black churches, we're shutting the doors on them. So they can't get that knowledge. And then, is it any wonder when we fall prey to this generation of mixed messages from rappers whose vocabulary is very rotten when it comes to our women? Anytime when you define women as, something is wrong. As I get ready to take my seat, the challenge to all of you today, if you are mad at what I said, check out what I said and then compare it with yourself. Because I would probably get mad too. For truth sometimes hurts. If you want this nation to be the nation that God intends for it to be, in your classroom, in your homes, you are the ones who have to put a stop to it. We have to move as one. Then and only then can the walls of oppression fall down. When we act as one, then and only then will the walls of racism fall down. When we act as one, we can go over the mountains and through the valleys, but only when we act as one. My brothers and my sisters, being poor is nothing new to Americans, period, but that was always something that poor people had. As long as they had a knowledge of God, they knew that the meal or the oil would never run out as long as they did what God said. And I say to you that if you are committed to the cause of Christ, if Christ is on the inside of you,
of our dean is away on sabbatical. Dr. David Gaberson has been acting as our academic dean. He's freshly, or however his official title is, our associate dean to the campus. Dave?
I want to take a moment on behalf of the college to thank for the extraordinary music that we've had today. It's really wonderful. I also want to thank the inspiring speakers that have graced us today. Thank you very much. On the program, well, it says closing comments, and I don't really have any closing comments to make, simply because if we've been inspired, if we've heard messages that people have delivered today through the song, through the talks, peace and justice issues don't go away. There is no closure to this issue. And along that line, I think the most important thing is to thank you for taking the time to be here today. Thank you for making this important to show up. And so I would like to ask you simply to stand up. I'm getting into this movement type of thing. Stand up and look at the human being next to you and behind you and thank them for making it important to be here. Because together, all of us have made things happen.
Fellowship, no, sit down. I'd like to make a presentation to Reverend McAfee on behalf of the Office of Black Student Affairs and Pan-Afrikan Students in Augsburg College. Just a token of our appreciation, a little token right now, of our appreciation for his being able to come challenge us on the things that we need to be able to do with our lives and our community. Reverend McAfee. I thought about this javelin. You know, I always like to give away with stuff. So first thing is I like to, anybody's birthday that was January 15th, honestly. January 15th, you got some ID, right? Well, this is for you. Reverend McAfee's birthday is next week, so y'all want to know. I'd like to have somebody whose birthday is today. Anybody? Closest to tomorrow. Kevin? Yesterday? Remember yesterday? Okay, yesterday, Kevin? 16? Now, I was going to ask for the oldest person, but anyway. Who came the furthest? Yeah. Okay. I just do birthdays. Who's next after that? We did yesterday, tomorrow. No, yours. Okay, well, catch. I'm going to end, my colleagues always want to know if I'm going to go Baptist or not, so I have to end these things. I'd like to first recognize the president of our college, Dr. Charles Anderson. I think this is one of the few times I didn't let him do anything. Thanks for being here. I'd like to ask the staff members of our college communities, just staff, stand up. I want the staff folks to stand up. Thank you. It's always very important that you come, and I appreciate it very much. Faculty. And you all need to know who you are. Augsburg students. Alums. Visiting high school students. Parents of somebody in the school ought to our parents. All right. Friends. My relatives. My best friends. Okay, we're gonna end with our benediction reception. I think I sort of sneaked out there already and got something. A couple announcements. We'll be having several Black History Month activities here at the school. We need you here as full as we are here today, all the time. This is a community that has a lot of resources here. You saw our faculty and staff. They are gifted with ideas and opportunities here at Augsburg College. We need to have you in our community. We also need to come out in your community where we can speak and recruit. The other thing is that we will be having our Arabic series that will be going on in February, our African art show. You should have gotten a program on that, and also support the Pan-Afrikan Conference in Mankato, Minnesota, Louisiana. Thank you for being here, Reverend McAfee. I want to first also thank those smart music makers, because they were like,
there are a lot of handouts. I know a lot of people walk around with different things, so make sure you get up and take a seat.
Yeah, there is a handout that Lucia Wilkes and many of the people that work with her is passing on about a rally in reference to this war. It's today at 4 o'clock, PV Plaza, 11th and Nicollet, and stop bombing U.S. troops out of the Middle East. And those of you who support that, you need to be there, because we need to stop the killing at all costs. Just as we're trying to stop the killing on the streets of Minneapolis, we need to try to stop the killing in Sarajevo, Bosnia, Somalia, as well as South Africa. Now, before we go, Courtney, my son Courtney, is he next to somebody sick? Now that's Julian. Courtney, come here, Courtney. Wake Julian up. Wake him up. I want you all to see my boys. And then we're gonna go home. Come on, buddy. Now these are my sons. That's Courtney, he's the oldest, and that's Julian, who sings with Seed Academy Group. He was telling me the other day that he's going to be James Weldon Johnson in the play. He said, you didn't have to tell everybody. Let us pray. Yes, we want to thank all of Courtney draws real well. Amen. Father, we thank you and we praise you for all that you've done. For just being God. I pray, Lord, that something was said that would touch some heart, not out of anger, Lord, but out of love. Lord, let all of us search and research our thoughts, that we may reach back and reach down and help someone, oh Lord, that's less and worse off than us. Lord, give us a vision. For we heard you say that without a vision, the people will perish. God, we need vision today. Lord, we need to turn the dream into a vision as well as a reality. We can do it, Lord, if we try. Only if we would reach beyond ourselves, Lord, and connect with you, that we can unite as one. Bless us as we go down from this place. In Jesus' name, amen.
Sitting down and focusing on really what my dream is, a regrouping over many days of being unfocused, and looking at myself and looking at the goals and the work that we have to do as a people. And it's not work that we have to do as individuals, but the work that we have to do as a group of people trying to move forward in our lives collectively. So that's more or less what I think Martin Luther King Day means to me. It's a time in which I can sit down and collect my thoughts and look at my dreams and look at what our outcome goals are for ourselves and for our own communities, our Black community.
This day symbolizes an opportunity where Americans can reflect on the changes in their lives, on how they can make a commitment to global and local change. It's just a beginning day where we can look at how we see the future, how we can take dreams and make them reality. And so I'm really pleased that this day has been part of our community and our college.
Forgotten the significance of this day.
Technical problem. Let's see. Can you back up a little bit? Sorry about that. I get it right about there. That should be good. All right.
The significance of this day.
This time we'll get it. We'll get it right.
But I think to a large degree, a lot of people have forgotten the significance of this day, especially a lot of the youth. There's not a lot of struggle involved in the things that they do. Their lives are revolving around $100 gym shoes and starter jackets and what have you. The fights that were waged for them to be able to purchase those items and to live the lifestyle that they live have most of all been waged. We have to start to reactivate the youth. And these days like this, the significance of it has to be ingrained within them again to upgrade their consciousness, to uplift them, and to get them active within the community. So days like this and bringing them together and bringing people of color together is one of the important aspects of it, other than the fact that a man lived and died so that people would have the right to be able to live where they want to live, be what they want to be in the United States of America.
All right, thank you. Well, this day is especially important because we have set aside a day to remember a truly great man, Martin Luther King Jr. I first was acquainted with his work as a junior high student and then became more interested as time went on and actually had the opportunity to hear him speak at a convention when I was in high school. When he was assassinated, I happened to have the mumps at the time, and I watched every event for that entire week, and I became more acquainted with what he had done. I started reading books, realized the greatness of this person. When it comes to this day, I set everything aside and celebrate his memory and celebrate all of the things that he stood for. It so happened that I have had the opportunity to get acquainted with people who were good friends of Martin Luther King Jr. and realize even more his greatness. So the day itself is one of the great days of the year for me, and hopefully it's getting that way for many others who may have not had the opportunity to know his work when he was alive.
I don't really look at it as MLK Day. I really think that it should be all year round. I think it means time to reflect on the good and bad things that have happened to African Americans throughout our existence on this earth. And I also feel that we still have a long way to go. And I am very much so appreciative of all the things that Martin Luther King has done for us.
How about you, sir?
MLK Day. Well, it means to me a time of reflection, something what Diane did say, and it also gives us a chance to evaluate where we need to go from here. I think that Martin and many other of our ancestors have set the ground or laid the foundation, and now we must begin to build on that.
Thank you.
That's it.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
MLK Day means to me a great many things. It means one.
Talk, Scott.
All right, take one. MLK Day means freedom. It means me finding my inner strength. It means me finding my identity, my people. It means empowerment. It means to build a nation that is unbiased. It means so many things, and yet there's not enough time to do it. You need more than just one day to perform all the things and implement all the injustices to truce. You need the year, 365 days. One day can't do it. One day will allow us to talk about what needs to be done. And it's good that we have one day recognized by our government. But the bottom line is, we need MLK Day every day. Thank you.
To me, the celebration of MLK Day is the opportunity to be able to express how I feel about Martin Luther King Jr. and what he stood for and what it means to me. It gives me an opportunity to express my talents and to show someone that everything must change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it kind of means like the whites and the blacks and the reds and the blues and the yellows and the greens are the same. That's it.
Is that it? All right, thank you.
My turn.
Okay, what does this say right there? Just look right here. What does this day mean to you?
Deal means brown, blue, green, purple, red.
All right. How about you? No comment? All right then, thank you.
Oh, Daddy.
Well, I think basically what we're talking about here is what the prophet said, that for a lack of vision, the people perish. And days like this are important because they help keep the vision of Martin Luther King alive. The event here at Augsburg today was great. We're 60% black folks or so, and the white folks are here to gather together in the spirit of love and renewal. So this day means keeping the vision alive.
Thank you.
Well, this is a time for us to get together and unite, not only as a race, but as human beings and people. As human beings and people, to celebrate the works of Martin Luther King, what he has done and what is yet to be done within his dream to be fulfilled. Basically it.
Thank you.